Hey everyone, today I'm working on a '06 Porsche Cayenne S. And I'm going to show you how to replace the rear struts on the rear hatch. Now replacing the struts on these are really common because this lid back here is really heavy. So you have the two struts on each side that's located back behind there. Each side is basically identical to get to it. So the first thing you're going to be doing is removing this panel off from the back here. In order to do that, you'll have to remove the light. So you'll pop the light out using a panel tool, kind of like this. And whenever you get to the light, one side will have the little clip on it, and then the other side is electrical. So you'll get that panel tool in there and push on that clip inward, and that light will pop right out of the panel. So once you get the light out, then you can pull on the edge of the panel, on each edge, and get this first clip out. Now if they don't come out easily, you'll have to use a paneling tool, kind of like this one. Now I normally tape it up so that I don't get the material of the panel dirty, so you'll just slide that panel pliers up in there and pop that clip, and then pop this clip out on this side, and then you can work on getting the next ones out. Now the next ones, if I can't get them out, they don't pop right out, I'll stick a crowbar like this, or you could use a long screwdriver. Again, I put some tape on there to keep it from getting really dirty, but you'll reach up in there, putting some pressure, pulling down on this, and you can actually usually just push on the clip and it'll come out. And then you'll do the same for the rear clips all the way across. You want to be careful because this plastic is brittle, and if you yank on it a little bit and it doesn't come off, then you need to reach up in there with something in order to push that clip off. So the next thing you want to do is remove the side corner piece, and you'll need to take the cover down right there and remove that Phillips screw that's located underneath it. Now once you get that screw out right there, you don't have to worry about taking this off because it'll come off with the panel. The next thing you're going to want to do is work on getting the clips off or detached off from the body. Now I usually start from the top right here, and I'll pull these top ones off, and I usually do use a screwdriver, a panel tool, or that pry bar in order to pop them out. Now you do have some all the way down on the bottom along the edge, and you also have some that comes up the side right here that you need to be careful on. Now whenever I get to the bottom down here, I normally just get my fingers underneath it and I'll start pulling outward. Now you want to be careful with the panel. I usually will pull from this corner right here and use the panel tool to get underneath the side here and start pulling them up. So once you start pulling this back, you want to bring the panel around towards the back so that you can unhook the rear portion back here. There's actually a little stub that fits on the panel right here. So whenever you bring that panel back around, it'll release right there. So right here you can see where there's panel clips all the way across the bottom, and then two on the other side of the speaker right there. And then you have a couple coming up on the inside. And then you'll go ahead and release the speaker wire right there in order to completely remove the panel off. So the next step that you're going to do is remove this plastic piece using a T25 socket to get the screws out of it. After you get the screws removed from the plastic piece, you can either pull this down. Most of the time they have a little piece of tape there, but you can either untape it and pull it completely down, or just leave it hanging. You'll be careful on these wires, pull them down a little bit. You have an airbag right here, be really careful for it. And then you'll see this little black cover right here that you'll be removing that has some black tar-like adhesive on it. So I normally will get a pair of panel pliers and just start going underneath it like this in order to pull it back enough to get up in there. You can see okay, so once you get that down, you'll remove it out with your hand and pull it straight out. Now you can see the struts for the rear. The next step is going to be taking the clips off from the struts on the inside, which will stick a long skinny screwdriver up there in order to get them off. Now if you haven't already, you need to really support the rear hatch. I normally use a broom, but whenever you take those shocks off, that broom's going to compress, so I don't really like using a piece of wood because it can scratch up the paneling up here, so I use a broomstick to hold it up. Now you might have a person help you and hold it up for you, because whenever you release these shocks from up in there, that deck lid will probably want to come down, especially if you haven't already replaced the opposite side. So you can kind of see how long the screwdriver is I'm using right here. It has a skinny head on it. I normally take the one off that doesn't have the shock on it first. So I'll reach all the way up in there. It's kind of difficult to show you with the camera. Okay, can you see I've got the clip on? It's really hard to see, but you can go ahead and pop that clip off if you want. You can see how I pop that clip completely back. And once you do that, you can use a screwdriver and pull out on that shock. And now you can see that's completely off from the mount. Now I'll go to the other side right here and I'll work on getting this one off on this side. Again, using the screwdriver to go up in there and pop that clip off. You can see that the whole assembly just kind of dropped off. So now that the assembly is loose, you can totally take that shock out. Okay, so once you get that one out, you'll work on getting the next one out. So now, you can see that one back there. Again, it's going to be really tight. Just see if I can do it. Hopefully I can show you how I'm doing the process. Okay, so hopefully I can show you. I'll have the camera right here. Reach up in there. Show you how I just pop the spring off. The spring's actually not really wanting to come off. Okay, now you can hear that I popped it out, and it's actually up in the cavity up in there. But I'll have plenty of room to reach it after I get the shock completely out. So then I'll go to this side and I will work on getting the spring retainer. Okay, you can see I've got the screwdriver on it, and I will turn it and twist it. You can see where I've got the, see how the spring's coming out right there. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Now once that's out a little ways, now I can pop the strut off. Now again, be really careful. Either have someone help you hold up the strut, or hold up the deck lid. Now it will be under tension, so you need to be really careful. With the coil side, you might need to get a pry bar up in there in order to pop it off the latch. But you can see there how whenever I took it off, I don't know if you were able to hear the hatch drop down, and it ended up compressing my broom. But once one side is off, the other side will most likely come off pretty easily. So you wiggle it around and you'll bring that strut out. Now we'll work on putting the new strut back in. And remember that if you pop the clips off in there, you can see that one's laying right here. You can easily get it out with your hand now. And the other one, you can see where it landed right there. So it's easy to remove those clips now. So now you can go ahead and take your new strut, and you'll have to probably spin the ends because the one with the shock, the ends attach in different directions. So the easiest way is just to put one in and a vise. Now don't crank down on it, just barely put a little bit of a tension on there, and then come up to the top and take a pair of pliers and just spin it around. Okay, so whenever one end is completely straight and the other end is pointing straight the other direction, you'll be able to put the shock back in now. So now you will slide the new one up in there. Make sure that you put the opposite end up in the hole before you snap the other side on. But if you look up in there, all you gotta do is line the hole up with a stud, put it over the stud, and then push it on. Once you push it on, you'll hear it pop in. So once that side's popped on, then you can go to the opposite side, and you might have to lift up the deck lid a little bit, or have a friend or someone lift up the deck lid in order to get this side on. Now I'm gonna have to put down the camera so that you can see. I can't hold the strut and the deck lid and the camera all at the same time, so. Okay, so once you get the one back on with the coil spring, you'll be putting the other one back on. So you just slide it up in the hole. Again, make sure that you put the opposite end up in there before you click it onto its mount. And do the same thing. Line it up with the hole. And click it on its mount. Now once you get that side mounted, come to the opposite side and mount it. And again, you might have to lift the tailgate slightly to get it on. Okay, so now you see that we have both sides replaced and it's got both shocks on. So the process for the opposite side is the same thing. Once you get that in there, then you'll put your little foam piece back in, slide it up in there, push it into the hole. Make sure that it is pressed all the way up in there. And then bolt down the plastic piece. So once you get the plastic piece back in, then you'll work on getting the paneling and the upper piece cover and then that little dome light back in. And you'll do the opposite, or the same for the opposite side. The opposite side is basically identical. It's a mirror version. So just take your time whenever you're taking out all these little panel retainers, because the panels will break pretty easily. And try to keep the interior clean. The interior gets dirty really quickly. My next video, I'm going to be showing you how to replace the air cleaners on the engine, so you might want to look forward to that. But anyway guys, thanks for watching my video today. I hope I helped you out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it today, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching again.